Now that we have done all the preparation work, we can finally start putting all the pieces of the puzzle together. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to design your presentation slide by slide. Let's see it. Now let's start designing. First, I'm going to show you what I have in my folder. I have the document that we previously created in Keynote, which is this one that I have open. I have the content for each slide. You can see here that I've separated the content, so I have everything ready. I also have my storyboard here next to me, so I can see what kind of elements I need for each slide. I also have some screens for the app, exported as PNG, so they don't have any background. And I also have my illustrations here exported as well. So let's create a new slide. First thing I'm going to do is to set some grids and guidelines for myself. So if right now you don't see any ruler here, you can go to View, Show Rulers. Then if you press inside of the ruler and drag the mouse down, you will see a yellow line. So you can set a workspace for yourself like this. And so this way you know that all the elements of your slide should be inside of this area. Now another method of using grids a little differently is to do it like this. I invented this trick a while ago and I use it a lot. So we're going to go to Edit Master Slides. I'm going to create a new one here. I'm going to call it Grid. And I'm going to create 12 stripes here, 12 shapes. If you press Option and Shift, you can copy your shapes and they're going to have the same distance. So right now I have 12. I'm going to select them all. I'm going to group them and then adjust them to the width of the slide. Now I'm going to ungroup them and change the color to a very light gray. Something like this. And then I'm going to click Done. And so what I have now is that I can go here, Change Master, select the style that I just created, and I can actually use these grids that I can't touch right now. They're blocked. And I can use them to arrange all the elements on my slide. For example, it can be very useful if you have a few different blocks of information on your slide. And once you've done arranging the element, you can just go back to white and they will disappear. So as you might notice, I'm using the same document that I used for creating a mood board. I do it on purpose so I always can come back to this slide and check again if the design that I'm creating is aligned with the initial style. Now I'm going to start with my cover page. So I know that I have to have a very big title. I'm going to activate my grades here. I'm going to copy paste this title and start working on the style. So the font that we are using is Poppins. I also know that I have to put get space here. I don't have a logo at this point. I don't think it's necessary. So I'm going to just write get space in the selected font and make it smaller. So it kind of looks like a logo. And I think I'm going to make this even bigger. I'm using this second column here to align my elements. I also need to put this in way smaller text here on the bottom. So I'm going to create another style for this element. I'm going to probably make it yellow. And I'm going to use a slightly different font. Now let's select the illustration that is going to be here on the right side. I have lots of options. I think I'm gonna go with this first one because kind of the idea of this slide is to get a sense of what is this project about, but without revealing or showing any app screens or anything. So let's try with this one. Now if I switch back to the white slide, I can see how my cover looks like. So as you can see in this stage, I'm just constantly moving the elements around, just trying to find the right place for everything. Now this illustration here, right now it looks like it's floating in the space a little. So I'm gonna try to create a little bit more dimension in my slide. So what I'm gonna do is go to Shapes and select this pen tool. And I'm going to draw a similar shape to this one here. Doesn't have to be exactly the same, but something like this. I'm going to fill this shape with black and I'm going to send it back. So now it looks like the whole illustration was created for this slide. This is what I'm trying to do. So what I need to do now is kind of fill the space with similar stars. I can do it directly in Keynote. So I can go to Shapes, select the star, like a normal star, and then I'm going to Arrange. And here you can see the number of points of the star. So if I say 4, it's going to look similar to this. Now you can also change the thickness, something like that. So I'm going to use these stars to fill the space a little. You can also see a little round shapes here. So I'm going to create a few of those. So what I'm doing here is that I'm selecting Option, and then I'm clicking on the element and I'm dragging it to the other space. All right, this looks good. So my next 4 slides are gonna be about the context and the problem. The content kind of has the same structure, more or less. There are 3 blocks of information. I have 2 with some percentages, and then another one with just a little title and some text. So I want to do something to make them look different. They also come right before the big revelation slide, the solution slide. And so I want to make them look a little bit dark and mysterious before we jump into this big, bright and colorful slide with the app design. For the first one, I think I'm going to make it black. So I'm gonna experiment a little bit with the typography and the size of each element. Now I'm gonna copy this one 3 times. Again, I'm pressing Option and Shift to do that faster. Now there's a little typo here. This should be here. Now the content part looks good to me, so I'm gonna add a new visual to this part. I'm talking here about the productivity and the challenges of working remotely, so I'm gonna select something that has to do with work. For example, this one. Now you see that this illustration needs some white background, and so I'm gonna use kind of the same idea, and I'm going to create a little bit of space here, but in this case the colors would be inverted. Send it back. I'm gonna slightly change the shape. I'm gonna right click on the shape and go to make editable. You can see here these little points that I can move, and the shape would change very smoothly. So I'm gonna try to adapt this shape to the illustration, so all these elements get covered. Also, you will notice that every time there are 2 points, you can easily create a third one between them. It will appear by itself. So this gives you a possibility of defining the shape a little bit more. And then I'm going to add a few of these stars to the black background in this case, just to make it look like space. And I'm going to add another one here just to balance the space. Now I need a little bit more of balance in the slide, so I'm going to select all this content and I'm going to move it a little bit to the right. On the bottom of the slide, I'm going to put in a very, very small type a few things. There will be this investor pitch deck. I'm going to make it almost transparent, so you can barely see. Then another one here with the word confidential. Since it's a pitch deck, it should be confidential. And then another one here. With the white background, it should be a little bit more gray. And I'm gonna put date and year. So this later can be changed. I'm gonna create a new slide. I'm gonna duplicate this one and just substitute the content. So in this case, I have a little different kind of structure. So I'm going to play around with it a little bit just to see where I can place it. Now I like this block and I'm going to use it 2 times more. So I don't need this anymore. Now, when I create blocks like these, what I like to do is to look for some kind of symmetry all the time. For example, I'm going to select these 2 text blocks. I can already see that they are pretty much aligned between them, but I just want to make sure that this is good. So I go to Arrange and I align to the top. You can see that nothing's changed, so it was probably already aligned. I'm going to do the same here. And then I'm going to select these 4 and align them to the left. Now I'm going to change the illustration here. So here I'm talking about mental health and the practices that people do, like meditation, therapy, yoga, and similar. So I need something that would reflect this concept. Like this one. Now this illustration needs a little bit more of black background, and so I'm going to change this shape again, and I'm going to make it look like she's sitting on top of something, like a mountain. Now there's a little space here that I can use to add something else, like this planet. And I'm gonna have to change the position of these stars so it doesn't look exactly like in the previous slide.